Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome here to the Flatout Racing Network's coverage of Season 5, Race 8 of the Talladega Nights Shake and Bake Series. It is the regular season finale at the conclusion of this evening's 66-lap event under the lights at Talladega Nights Superspeedway. We will know the 12 drivers that will be moving on to battle for the championship. About 4 drivers already have themselves locked in on points, but it's super close amongst about a dozen drivers for those final last-minute positions to maybe be able to battle for this season's championship. I'm Seth Cole, alongside of Michael Norman. And Michael, when it comes to super speedway racing and last-minute opportunities, you can definitely expect it's going to be a bit of a chaotic race.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Hoping that, things have calmed down with these guys. Well, I use that term loosely, especially considering what's on the line in this race, but should make for some very interesting racing, Seth. I'm looking forward to seeing it, and hopefully we get going here soon. It says you can look down here. It looks like Ken Roberts and Robert Breedlove, 2 Roberts on the front row.
Absolutely. A couple of guys that are very good when it comes to qualifying, and we're going to be finding out the rest of the starting lineup here in just a moment.
Hey,
So,
Seth, I don't mean to cut you off, but I got something funny to say.
Okay.
So I'm looking at the chat, right? And I see Frank Devon's name pop up, right? And for some reason, in my mind, I read that as Devens.
Devens, indeed. All right, well, I'm being told the drivers are ready for driver introductions for tonight's starting lineup. So let's find out who is going to be starting where in the regular season finale. All right, big field here tonight for this finale. Playoff spots on the line. Here's the starting lineup for tonight's race from Talladega Nights Superspeedway.
Starting first, 55, driving the Mountain Dew Chevrolet, painted by Rodney Sollins, out of West Bend, Wisconsin. Good luck, guys.
Starting second in 931, Firehouse Subs, Robert Breedlove out of Lancaster, South Carolina. Good luck, everybody.
Starting inside of row 2, Nate Balser, number 79. I'd like to thank my wife and daughters who are out driving right now, who are listening, and good luck all.
Starting outside row 2 is Greg Lovell in the 088 from Big Stone Gap, Virginia. I'd like to thank Frank Devens for the paint scheme, and good luck, guys. Let's have some fun tonight.
Starting 5th, Keith Bynum in the 63 hubcap Annie Chevrolet, Monte Chevrolet Camaro. You need a hubcap or a wheel for your car, keep me in mind. Good luck, everybody.
Starting 6, Randy Wall from Huntsville, Alabama, driving the number 21 Alabama Crimson Tide Dodge for Big Stone Gap Racing, painted by Frank Devens. Shout out to my sons Christian and Corey, grandsons Adrian, Asher, and Asa.
Starting 7 in the 23, Doug Hulick from Plum, Pennsylvania, driving the Toyota Camry Yeti-sponsored car. Shout out to my family, friends, and loved ones. Be safe out there in the winter weather.
Starting 8th out of Freeland, Michigan, the newly painted, newly modeled 27 Cadillac, painted by the one and only Blaine Donlin. Go Blaine Donlin.
Starting 9th, number 043, Brian Lovell from Big Stone Gap, Virginia. I'd like to thank Frank for the paint. I've not run this car in a while, and just want to wish everybody good luck tonight.
Starting in the 10th position is Larry D, driving the 188 Team Amazon car. Good luck, guys.
Good luck to everybody. Starting 11th, number 97, Pat McCarsky, driving McCarsky Motorsports, Plymouth.
Starting 12th, Jeff Goodpasser, driver number 33, Team Amazon. Let's get it.
Starting in 13th, Mike Mangialardi, driving the 029 Ford Mustang out of Federal Way, Washington. Shout out to my friends watching at the Rainier Room tonight, and good luck, everybody.
Starting 14th, Billy Elliser, driving the number 26 Coors Light Chevy.
Starting 15th from Big Stone Gap, driving the 41 Frank Devens Corona. Go, everybody.
Starting in 16th, Dan Lovell in the 388, bringing back the old Ford MSI car, painted by Frank Devens. Thank you, Frank. Thanks, Jeff, for what you do. Thanks, Seth, for the broadcast. Thank you all you drivers. Good luck, everybody.
Starting 17th, Stephen Brandstetter from Ranelette, Oklahoma, driving the 510 Oklahoma State University Ford Mustang, painted by Blaine Donald. Thanks, guys.
Rolling off 18th in the 82 McBee Excavating Ford Mustang. Craig Hagley out of Canaan Valley, West Virginia. Good luck, guys.
Starting 19th is Chris Elliott driving the number 9 red Team Doritos car out of Mooresville, North Carolina. I want to say a quick shout out to my dad and his wife, Minvy, and their son, the Gov, over in Salt Lake, and my brother, Scott Elliott, and his wife, Lori, over in Atlanta, and all my friends that are watching, and my wife and Logan here at house. And let's have a good race, guys. Good luck.
Who's next?
Mr. Bond.
Larry Bond, Perry Bond, out of 20th position, driving number 60 out of Virginia, driving the Amazon ride. Good luck, everybody.
P21, Greg Palmer out of Lewis, Delaware, driving a double deuce, Dick Cider, Chevy Camaro. Good luck, guys.
Starting 22nd, Bobby Farrell, Frederica, Delaware, and the number 7 Motorcraft Quick Lane Ford Mustang.
Starting in 23rd, Ulysses the Wrecking Ball Sandoval, also known as the Papi, driving the 96 San Luiseño Express Toyota Camry. Good luck, everyone.
Starting 24th, the number 24, driven by Gray McDonald from Sarnia, Ontario. Good luck, everybody.
Starting 25th, and the Old Bandit and the 58 Jim Black from Shermansdale, Pennsylvania. Good luck, everybody, and good luck to everybody that's in the chase.
Starting 26th, driving the number 28, Wood Brothers Ford, Mark Paglia from Gainesville, Georgia.
Starting 27.
27, number 80, Eric Lovell, driving for Big Stone Gap Racing in the Corona car painted by Mr. Frank Divins. Let's have a good race, guys. Good luck to everyone. Let's get it.
Starting 29th, Alex Moe, Southern California, 48 Lowe's Chevrolet.
Bob Dixon.
Starting 31st is the number 43, Bob Dixon from Macon, Georgia. Good luck.
Starting 32nd, Jeffrey Elliott, driving a number 56 Chevy Camaro, painted by the one and only Rodney Sullins. I want to give a shout out to all you guys coming out for this amazing night of racing tonight. Give a shout out to my father. Hopefully, maybe you got that turned on the TV for my dad. This one's for you. Thanks, Scott, for watching. Love you, Don. We'll be seeing Dad in about 2 weeks. Good luck, everybody.
Starting 33rd, driving by number 3, GM Goodman Chevrolet Camaro, Gary Hauser out of Mount Sterling, Kentucky.
Start number 34, driving the 45 car, Batman, Tom Dixon from Byron, Georgia. Thanks, Tracy, for watching us on Flatout Racing TV.
Starting 35th in the number 12 Ford Mustang Fireball Whiskey is Gary Mingus from Tallahassee, Florida. I'd like to give a shout out to all of my buddies here racing. It's good to be home.
Starting 36th from Sun City Center, Florida, driving the 09 Coors Melling Ford is Frank Divins. Paint created by Frank Divins. Glad to be here.
Starting 37, driving number 4 Toyota Camry car, Javier Negron from Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Starting dead last, number 67, Garland Oaks from Martinsville, Virginia, driving the Gold Peak T Toyota Camry. Just thought I'd give all of y'all a chance to win the race tonight.
A big field here tonight. Definitely a big race field with being the last race of the regular season. Best of luck to everybody. Looking forward to a heck of a show here tonight at Talladega.
Buddy
Thank you,
left
Seth.
your channel.
Thank you, Seth. Appreciate it, Bob.
Thanks, up.
Thank you, Seth.
Channel switched.
All right, as these drivers get themselves geared up for this evening's event, mention about the fact 4 drivers come into this race worry-free. Basically, they run the classic point system. The classic point system, you can get a total of, I believe it's 180 points for a victory. That's not counting the 30 bonus points that you get. So really, you want to put yourself either 180 points ahead of the cut line or 180 points below the cut line to have a shot of getting into the top 12. The four drivers, I should say, that we know for certain are going to be battling. Huh?
The 3-4 drivers.
The 3-4 drivers that we know are going to be battling for the championship once the playoffs begin next week include Grant Wesley, Ken Roberts, Ulysses Sandoval, and Alex Moe. That is your top 4 in the point standings right now. Couple of other drivers, if they can finish even inside the top 30 this evening, they'll be locked in. Greg Lovell, Bobby Farrell, and Graham McDonald would fall into that category. Drivers that would need to finish in the top 20 to advance would include Denny Carroll and Brian Lovell. But then it starts to get really interesting down around 10th in the standings. Rodney Sullins, he's had to take provisionals the last couple of weeks. He's not in the field here tonight as well. He has a shot of mathematically falling out of the top 12 after winning the season opener. He currently is a total of 48 points ahead of the cut line. Keith Bynum, he is in the field here tonight, but he is only a total of 6 points ahead of the cut line in 11th. Mike Mangialardi comes in on the hot seat. He is 12th in overall standings right now. And here's where it gets interesting, Michael, because just behind him, Sean Dotson, minus 1 point. Behind him, Craig Hagley, minus 2 points. Behind him, Billy Elliser, minus 15. And behind him, Robert Breedlove, who starts on the front row, minus 30. With the classic point system, I would have to feel it's even more difficult if you're a driver on the defensive of trying to figure out where all your competition is and where you need to be positioned as opposed to them. If it's 1 point per position, it's somewhat easy math. But the classic point system, where it goes from like 5 point separation to 4 to 3 to 2, I mean, do you even worry about points? Do you just kind of think, this is the position I have to finish in, this is my goal? If somebody else finishes ahead of me, well, I just have to hope I have enough points to hold them off.
Well, it's a classic point system, so it's one position is worth a lot more points than it used to be. So it's going to be difficult, especially trying to defend. The classic point system I feel like works better for chasing down somebody rather than defending it. So it should make things 10 times more interesting between those two, and it should be fun to watch if we can keep an eye on them.
So for those that are wondering, the drivers that are around that 180 point cut between them and 12th in the standings that do have a mathematical shot, some more of a long shot than others. We already mentioned about Sean Dotson, Craig Hagley, Billy Elliser, and Robert Breedlove. They've got the biggest chances since they are less than 30 points away from that cut line. But also in that conversation, Bob Dixon, Eric Lovell, Nate Balser, Josh Slocum, and Steven Brandstetter. They mathematically could point their way into the top 12 here this evening. I believe Kelly Causey would have been eligible, but he is not in the field here tonight. Chuck McClure would have been eligible, but he is also not in the field here tonight. So there's about, looks like 8 drivers that have a shot of maybe making their way up into the top 12 here this evening.
It's that, you want to know something funny? Only you're going to get this reference because you know what I'm talking about. But during the driver intros, while I was listening to our driver intros, I had a specific video playing in the background of a
Did it have to do
song.
with? Did it have to do with Thomas?
Yes.
Of course, it had to do with Thomas.
It fit perfectly well.
Were you slowly descending into madness?
I was.
Well, I'll tell you, depending on how tonight goes, some of these drivers might slowly descend into madness.
Let me clarify. I was slowly descending into madness because of the song, not because of driver's meeting.
Ah, okay. Yes, of course. Well, you weren't even there for driver's meeting. You were there for the driver intros, but I digress.
You know what I mean.
I know what you mean, but I'm still going to give you a hard time of it since you are slowly descending into madness. What do you...
who else slowly descended into madness? Cusco.
He did. He definitely did. What are we expecting here for those playoff drivers specifically and type of race to prepare for? Because we've seen a little bit of everything here this season in the Shake and Bake series. We've seen the long green flag runs where pit road has come into play, but we've also seen where you've kind of got to have your head on a swivel and avoid the wrecks when and if they take place. We've seen a lot of wrecks take place up at the front of the field, so nobody seems to really be safe in their positioning. If you're one of these playoff drivers, either just above or just below the cut line, do you have a pre-race strategy here before the green flag even drops?
I mean, not really. It's a super speedway race. You just got to position yourself right. Strategy is to just stay up front, make good pit stops, and be there at the end.
Appreciate everybody joining us here this evening in our YouTube chat. Got some Fans here getting shouted out. Bob Dixon getting shouted out here. Gary Slingshot Mingus getting shouted out. A lot of fans in the chat getting ready for what should be a good one here under the lights at Talladega Nights Super Speedway. Easy for me to say. Talladega.
Wow. Tapioca.
Tapioca. Do you remember what Talladega, what language that actually is in?
What, Talladega?
Yeah.
Western European African descent.
No. It's actually Native American. Don't you remember the whole legend of Talladega? Because wasn't Talladega built on or near an Indian burial ground?
It was built on an army base.
I think there was an Indian burial ground like nearby though too. And that's why they were associating.
There's an Indian burial grounds everywhere.
Wow, that's probably true as well. But wasn't there like an incident where at Talladega like the lid of a caution light came off or something, and they were like, "Yep, because the track is haunted."
I don't remember.
I think that was the case. I might be wrong. I could be making stuff up. But it's not called making stuff up, it's called embellishment. Happy hour is nearly done. We've had an hour. Are you happy yet?
No.
You're not happy.
What is happy?
It's when you clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Or in the case of Carson, you just go to a wedding dressed as a depressed Care Bear.
Depressy the bear.
Cherokee. Scott Yee and our Scotty E and our Scott Yee. How did I come up with Scott Yee when it's Scotty E? Scotty E in our chat telling me it's Cherokee.
Okay, Scotty, go ahead and belittle him for messing up.
Go ahead and roast me.
Probably easiest name.
Go ahead and roast me because we know Michael will. Alrighty then. We should be nearing these drivers gridding up. I believe there are 37 drivers that are going to take the green flag here this evening. Is he a Dylan Poteet fan? Party!
No one's going to get that but us.
Nobody is. You know, it's nice to be able to say references and just be the only two that know about it. It's also a little depressing that nobody else knows what we're talking about, but
yeah,
field gridding up here on pit road. Getting ready for what should be 66 exciting laps. Nice to see a couple of faces in the field here tonight that we haven't seen in a long time. We saw Thursday night Jim Black make his return to Rolling Thunder Gaming, and tonight he's in the field for Talladega Nights. And also great to see Frank Divins back behind the wheel in the number 9, the Bill Elliott throwback. It's actually the 09 on our scoring, but he's the number 9 if you see him out there on the racetrack. A couple of legends in the NR 2003 online community. Nice to see them back in the field here this evening for this one. But what's also going to be interesting here tonight, Michael, we already talked about the agenda of the drivers that are trying to battle for a playoff spot, but you've also got those 4 drivers, well, 3 here this evening in the field. Grant Wesley not in the field, though he is locked into the playoffs, but Robert Sandoval, Mo, already locked in. They can go out there, be aggressive, try and get another win, get some more bonus points towards the playoffs. And then those drivers that are in the field that don't have a mathematical shot, winning or otherwise, to get into the playoffs, it kind of turns the reins loose for them to be able to go out there and turn up the wick just a little bit to be able to try and see if they can pick up another checker flag.
Turn up the wick. Why do you have to try to sound like you're young when we both know that you're not?
Isn't turn up the wick, isn't that actually an old person phrase?
I sounds more new school to me.
Not sure. I'm going to have to look that up, find out when that phrase ended up coming about. Turn up the wick. Might have had an issue coming off of pit road. Guess not. Just a couple of drivers a little slower off the pit lane and getting ready to grid up. Gonna look a little uneven there as you got a fewer cars up on that top side than you do on the inside line. That's probably our fault.
Is it?
It probably is. It probably was the commentator slots up there somewhere in that outside line.
Yeah, it probably was.
We didn't even the numbers.
Can you ever even the numbers? Have you ever heard a military person just randomly shut out even the numbers?
I mean, you could even the numbers, but it would be odd if you did.
I hate that I set you up for that.
All right, folks. We have
You know what?
set the stage or blown it up, one or the other.
All I'm saying is I'm glad that you're making these jokes. I may dislike them, but deep down, it's making me happy. And after the day I've had today, it's all I need.
You may be frowning on the inside, but you're smiling on the outside. Or what? I said that wrong. Shut up. The lights. No. Okay, hold on. In my defense, I was flustered because I was checking to see the lights are actually on the pace car. We're not going green, so.
Sure, that's the reason why.
Yeah, the pace car lights threw me off.
You said it with such authority.
I'm like a cat. I see lights and my brain automatically stops and goes, ooh, lights.
Yep, there it goes.
My brain stopped. Jeffrey Elliott on the pit lane in the 56. I'm not certain what exactly happened there.
Well, let's go back and see, shall
But here's the good news. The good news is...
Oh, he blew up.
Did he really?
Under pacing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he was just going, and then I wonder if it was actually like in game or if maybe he downshifted, money shifted. I don't know, but it
also looks like Frank Divens. He qualified, but he just disconnected from the server. He's not going to start this race. That's a shame. Well, the good news is that since we had not even gone green, it does not put a lap up on the board. It still stays at 0. We will be going green with lap 1 scored on the board here with Ken Roberts bringing us around. But that is a tough break there for Jeffrey Elliott. Jeffrey came into this one 32nd in points. He was over, I believe, 195 points out of 12th place, so he was not going to mathematically have a shot of advancing his way into the postseason, even with a victory. But, man, that stinks when you aren't even able to get around to take the green flag if it happens right on the first pacing lap. Tough break there for Jeffrey Elliott.
I've never met a person who loves coming out, loves racing, getting ready to start the race, and blow up before the race even starts.
Even a driver that doesn't start in park, they at least want to get the first lap.
Yeah. I think it's more like of a driver who does start in park, not doesn't start in park.
Yes. Alrighty then. This time the pace car makes the left-hand turn to pit road, and we're ready to get this regular season finale underway.
But Scotty says, Jeffrey, my boy!
Not my boy! Green flag in the air here. Ken Roberts in that bright lime green Mountain Dew Chevrolet Camaro going to lead them into turn number 1. Frank Divens apparently connection issues. He has reconnected back in, so we may still yet see that Bill Elliott throw back on the racetrack.
Benjamin Snyder says, did someone say start in park? And then he says, show some respect for field fillers.
Did somebody say Stephen Park? Nate Balser was able to tuck into the second position there. Greg Lovell right behind. In that 2024 Ford Mustang Dark Horse. Right behind him, Keith Bynum in the 63. 3 wide further back, Billy Elliser trying to make something happen up there on the top.
You know, they always said that in racing, the color green on a race car is bad luck. But I don't know. So far with Ken Roberts and others, it doesn't seem like bad luck to me.
You know, I
of
almost
course not. Watch. I say that, and then he immediately gets turned into the wall.
I almost would believe that whole scenario of green being bad luck on a car, because I can't tell you the number of years we had the FRN curse. Any car that was sponsored with FRN, had the FRN green, usually ended up in a bad way before the end of the race.
Yeah.
But Ken Roberts has a.
why I always
But here's the
told you
thing.
That's why I always told you to keep the FRN logo off my car.
But here's the thing, to kind of counter the green being bad luck, Ken Roberts has a win this season already in the Shake and Bake Series, won the second race, and it was in this very car, so.
That's why I said normally they say green on a race car is bad luck, so.
So do we call him Ken Reverse the Curse Roberts?
Ken Reverse the Curse, Jake the Snake Roberts.
Reverse the curse or do the do, one or the other.
Jake the Snake.
Do you ever think there would? Do you ever think there
I am a wrestling fan, okay? Audience out there, I will make wrestling jokes.
Do you ever think somebody would ever come out with a soda called Mountain Don't?
I hate you.
Well, one thing you can't hate is the racing we got mid-pack. They're 3 wide.
Instead of Mountain Dew Baja Blast, it's my one of my friends bought a Mountain Dew Jaha Blast.
Mountain Dew Baja Blasted. It's just an empty bottle of Baja Blast.
Just open it. No, you open it, it blasts off, and then there you go.
It's gone.
But wait, it's gone.
It's like that one. It's like that one video that one, like, I think it was a TikTok where they ended up having the soda bottle fly and it hit a guy in the garage when the bottle was outside.
Hey,
you've never seen the movies. I guess I could say because it's technically not cursing, but the Jackass movies, and in those in a scene in one of those movies, they're just all in like a very enclosed room with, like, safety glass and everything for the camera people, and they're just taking Mentos and in soda, shaking them up, putting them together, and then just throwing them on the ground, playing like dodgeball.
Oh my gosh. I never actually did do the soda Mentos thing.
Have you ever tried to play dodgeball with a medicine ball in the dark?
What's a medicine ball? Is that like the therapeutic squeeze balls?
No, it's it's a ball that's the size of a basketball, kinda, but it's like super heavy.
I can honestly say no, I have not done that. I was scared enough to play dodgeball with just the regular kickballs because there were usually kids in my class that would kill you with them.
We used to when I played, I was great at dodgeball, dude. I would be making moves, grabbing balls when they were throwing
$1
at
million moves, making moves.
Getting all my teammates out of jail by catching a ball, because as soon as you caught the ball, you get your whole team comes back.
Oh, ours was if you ended up scoring a basket because it was in like a gymnasium, and I always was able to hit like the side basket shots. I know when we were down in Dandridge, I couldn't hit a single basket there, but I actually used to be good.
We're getting so off topic now.
We are. On topic, Jeffrey Elliott, he blew 4th gear under pacing, and that is the reason that he has not started this race. He'll end up getting credited for probably 35th or so. We had, I think it was 37 drivers listed in the driver intros. Only 34 took the green flag, all running in this lead pack and on the lead lap right now as we continue to watch the battle for 5th place. That's Chris Elliott in the Doritos Mercedes up on the outside of Doug Hewlick's Yeti Toyota.
I was going to say, it just doesn't seem like the middle lane's getting momentum, which is very strange for this racetrack.
Yeah, it really is.
I mean, but of course, then again, we sometimes see where cars will pull up to that middle lane and it'll just stall the inside lane out by doing that, but this is still kind of weird.
Yeah, the 3rd lane was there for a moment and then it's dissipated. You got a couple of them up there on that top side, so you would have thought that would bring the momentum back to that middle line. As soon as I say that, now you got a 3rd lane forming again. They're going to put Randy Waugh in the middle.
Luigi?
That is, you've been waiting for that, haven't you? Got Craig Hagley up there on the top. Greg Palmer jumps up there also. Steven Brandstetter, Bob Sire trying to make that outside line go.
Go outside line. God, why did I just make that reference?
Was that supposed to be a Power Rangers reference?
It was, yes.
I mean, I caught on to that, but
I hate myself for saying that.
It just kind of hits in a different way.
It does. It
Kind of
doesn't
like
hit at all.
getting
actually.
hit in the face by a medicine ball in the middle of the dark.
Yep.
Ken Roberts continuing to show the way. So far this season, surprisingly enough, we have had 7 races and 7 different drivers have gone to victory lane. Rodney Sullins, Ken Roberts, Chuck McClure, Grant Wesley, Greg Lovell, Mark Paglia, and Alex Moe. The 7 different winners is
Look at the
yikes.
very outside line.
Yeah, Doug Hewlick was moving up there in front of Craig Hagley, and he almost, I don't know if he moved up too high or if he got a little bumper grab from the 82, but he almost was brushing the wall there, coming off of 2 and onto the back straightaway. One thing as I look at this field, there are a ton of different manufacturers. You've got the usual Chevys, Fords, and Toyotas. We already talked about the 2024 Ford Mustang Dark Horse there with Greg Lovell, but then you've got Plymouth with Pat McCarsky. You've got Mercedes with Chris Elliott and Steven Brandstetter. You've got Cadillac with Bob Sire.
Cadillac, that's outrageous to me.
I mean, Cadillac, I'm trying to remember, Cadillac's the Rolex cars, right? Isn't that like what Cadillac's mostly known for in the racing world?
I don't know.
I can't remember. Oh, someone was on the apron back there. Looks like we're good. That might have been Robert Breedlove. It was a red or reddish orange car.
Let's see.
But they all kept it going. That's at least the good news there.
Yeah, could have been the 48, maybe.
Yep, Alex Moe, making Bobby Farrell. It had reddish on the front, red or orange. Regardless of who it was, we were able to keep it going, stay green. Outside line's got a new driver leading it. That's Denny Carroll in the 41. Making his way high, wide, and handsome in the Dodge Charger.
What'd you just call him?
I called him handsome. You said I wasn't cute. I'm still salty about that. That middle line is starting to make some hay now, Kyle. Wow, I called you Kyle. I called you Kyle.
Who the fuck is Kyle?
Why did I call you Kyle?
Pardon my language, but every time someone says Kyle, we have to say that because it's a running gag.
Oh my goodness, I cannot believe I just did that.
Usually it's Levi, now I'm Kyle.
Oh my goodness, folks, I'm falling apart here. You gotta help me.
There is no help for you.
Oh my goodness.
Who the heck is Kyle Matthews?
I'm being told IMSA is where the Cadillacs are. Okay.
Oh,
our buddy Anthony would have known the answer to that. He likes a lot of the off-road, road course, class-style racing. That middle line, it's chugging. Denny Carroll, sometimes it only takes just one car to go up there at the front of that line and bring them to the front, and right now it looks like it is Denny Carroll. He's up alongside of Nate Balser for second place. He's going to have thoughts about this race lead if they keep this momentum up down the back straightaway. Nate Balser's going 195. Denny Carroll 197 down the back straightaway. 2 miles per hour may not seem like much, but when you're all close together in this type of racing, even half a mile per hour is a difference maker.
That's true. Just all about momentum. Half mile per hour slower, that's going to kill your momentum.
Look at Denny Carroll. He's going to get half a car length out on Ken Roberts. He's going to have him cleared, actually, through the tri-oval. And first driver tonight, not with the 55 on his car, is going to lead a lap. Denny Carroll now out in the lead.
Well, Seth, we should be getting close, maybe less than 5 laps, give or take, away from pit stop.
You said it, I didn't, so the jinx is on you.
I mean, I never specifically said, green flag pit stops. I just said pit stop.
Well, your name is also Kyle, so we would blame Kyle in this case if it happened.
Curse you, Kyle Matthews!
Or as we end up finding out, somebody, a friend of ours, incorrectly called him Matt Hughes.
Matt. Not going to name any names, Dylan Poteet.
Yeah. Well, Denny Carroll, as soon as he got to the race lead, he jumps down to the bottom of the racetrack. Doug Hewlick, that momentum still up there on the top. He's going to now edge ahead. He'll get the lap led. Now, does he jump down to the inside if he gets clear, or does he stay up there with Hagley, Palmer, Brandstetter, and others? I believe that's also the 388 of Dan Lovell on that outside line. Pit road is a treacherous place, regardless of where the racetrack is, but at super speedways, when you usually have a bunch of drivers coming down at the same time, it can be like navigating highway traffic. And we've seen races, we've seen championships won and lost on pit road.
Yeah, so yeah, decided on pit road.
Here tonight, it could be a chance for a championship decided on pit road for all those drivers that are mathematically eligible to either lock themselves in or race their way into the top 12. It is not a win and you're in scenario here for this series. It's all about consistency, which is not exactly an easy thing when it comes to the ins and outs and unpredictability of super speedway racing.
Yep.
And you saw right there, your top four all shifted from the middle line to the bottom. Hewlick, Hagley, Palmer, and Brandstetter. So to your point there, we're on the eve of green flag pit stops. They want that ease of access to get onto pit lane, not have to cross over a lane of traffic to do so. Question is, though, when do we see that dive?
Dive, dive, dive.
Outside line losing some numbers with that quartet jumping down to the bottom. Dan Lovell still trying to make something happen up there, though. Eric Lovell right behind him. I believe that's Gary Mingus. Yes, it is. Third on that outside line. Steven Brandstetter, Chris Elliott, all still trying to make something happen. Garland Oaks right in the middle of that.
When everybody at the front dives down after using the outside lane, it just kills the momentum because you have just kind of have no forward progress. And like you got to do like what they're doing. That's you got to hug them. You got to force them lower on the racetrack, as you know, in order to try to even make an advancement. But he's got really nobody that's not close enough behind him.
And the thing of it is too, and I'm not meaning this in a negative way. This is just based off of strategy. You kind of lose the will to move that line forward because you're trying to you're trying to find your way down to the inside line as well, and sometimes you have to lift to do so.
I see some radios lighting up here.
Here they come. Hewlick in from the lead. Ken Roberts, Ulysses Sandoval. Oh, 3 wide coming in there. That was Javier Negron shooting the gap between Bobby Farrell and Gary Heiser. Looks like they're all going to make it on there. About a dozen drivers there with that group. Whoa, who the heck was that? Oh, it's Tom Dixon in the 45, who just came off of pit road. Man, that thing was loose coming off of turn 2.
Well, we know the Dixons love to pit about a lap early for everybody else.
It's a classic Dixon strategy. Let's see about this group here. Craig Hagley got his first lap led of the night just moments ago. And, yep, he's coming in this time. Oh, man, the 22 is going to lose it. That thing was all sorts of out of shape, and they're still wrecking at the head of pit road. Bob Sire, Graham McDonald, Keith Bynum, Dan Lovell.
Wrecking at the head of the table?
At the head of the table. They're all trying to get themselves turned back around. Bob Sire's going to lose a lot of time there as he was facing backwards.
That's going to cost them a lot, plus all the innocent bystanders.
Yep, that all had to either slow up or got involved as well. Trying to look and see who may have stayed out of that group. I don't think anybody did. I think everybody else was down pit road that lap.
Not to mention everybody else who got stuck behind them. Yeah, it's going to be, you know, unfortunately, it's nature of the game.
As I'm looking right now at those drivers that were hovering around the cut line, a couple of them involved in the pit road stack-up. One of them was Keith Bynum, who came into this one 11th in points, 6 points ahead of the cut line. Another one of them was Mike Mangialardi. He wasn't involved, but he had to stop and wait for everything to settle out. So he's going to lose a ton of time, and he was the cut driver coming into this one. So
Guess we're going to see how things stack up as everybody comes off of pit road.
I think it's going to be Doug Hulick that'll cycle back out to the lead as Greg Lovell is coming in. Craig Hagley, Stephen Brandstetter, Randy Waugh all coming into pit road this time. Brian Lovell, Greg Palmer. Palmer, I believe, let's check and see. I don't know if he's actually coming down for service or if he's coming down to serve a black flag.
Very possible it could be black flag.
A couple of these drivers think are serving black flag penalties. Yeah, the 82, the 510, the 21, the 043, and the 22 all just did pass-throughs. The 088 looked like he might have done a stop and go. So pit road nabbed nearly a half dozen drivers right there. Greg needed to finish this race inside of the top 30 to be absolutely secure into the playoffs. Brian, he came into this one 60 points above the cut line, 9th in overall points. He needed pretty much a top 10, top 15 to absolutely lock himself in. So there's a lot of moving pieces right there with drivers either having issues on pit road or getting nabbed by the speeding police and having to serve a penalty. I think it's safe to say we've got about upwards of a dozen plus drivers that would love to see a caution to be able to either catch back up or, in the case of 3 drivers, get back on the lead lap. Mike Mangialardi, Billy Elliser, and Gary Mingus all have fallen a lap down here under this green flag cycle.
Oh, as we try to get back up to the, where are we at here? The leader is the 23. Doug Hulick. And how many cars are in this lead pack? About 7?
About 7 of them, and I believe 5 of them are on the lead lap. The 029 right now of Mike Mangialardi would be in one of the lucky dog positions. The 26 at the very tail end there, Billy Elliser, would be in the second lucky dog position. Interesting point of note as well, talked about the fact that we've had 7 races, 7 different winners. Of the 5 lead lap cars in this pack, 2 of them former winners. Ken Roberts, Mark Paglia. So it would be Hulick, Balser, or Denny Carroll that would be looking to extend the streak to 8 different winners should things remain the way they are. But we haven't even reached halfway, and there's still at least 2 more pit stops these drivers are going to have to make. There's also a second pack that is slowly closing in on the lead group, being led by the Amazon Brigade. That's Larry D in the 188. Jeff Goodpaster right behind him. Those Volkswagens have about 5-6 drivers behind them. Gary Heiser in the 3. Javier Negron in the 4. His teammate Ulysses Sandoval right behind him. Bobby Farrell, Robert Breedlove, and I believe that is the lap car of Gary Mingus at the tail end of this group. And I'm trying to look and see here in terms of lap times. Doug Hulick's last lap time was a 48.354. The leader of the second group, Larry D, was a 48.601. That's about 3/10 difference advantage to the lead pack.
This time around it was a 48.2.
For Hulick?
Yeah.
And for Larry D, it was a 48.295, so about a 10th loss there for the second pack. All comes down to how tight the draft is. There are 2 lap cars in this lead pack, yes.
Ah, okay.
And there may be a third as they are closing in. Actually, there might be a couple more. That's Greg Lovell, who had to serve the stop and go. Graham McDonald in the 24. They are right now 30th and 31st on the tail in the lead lap, but you saw the lead pack behind them. Graham McDonald, another driver that came into this race not safe to advance into the playoffs. He's 7th in overall points, but he was only 90 points ahead of the cut line. Actually, to be more specific, he was about 83 points ahead of the cut line. And people are probably wondering, well, that's safe, right? That's a huge amount. Well, as we said at the top of the program, not with the old school classic point system. Well, Mark Paglia, running in the 3rd position right now, mentioned he's a former winner on the season. But outside of his victory, all the rest of his finishes have been pretty bad. And subsequently, he came into this one, even with a victory, ineligible of being able to point his way into the playoffs. So he's a driver that could be looking to be the first repeat winner of Season 5 here of the Shake and Bake Series. There you see Greg Lovell, Graham McDonald, a couple of drivers that most likely will be in the playoffs this season. But this will not be a good end to their regular season unless they end up catching a caution to save them as they go a lap down. And right now they're not even in the free pass positions. Mangialardi and Ellis are past the both of them. Keeping an eye on the lap times of that second group, and they are still running about 3 to 3.5 tenths slower than the lead pack. And, it's interesting, too, because a lot of people might think, well, if you have more cars in your pack, you're going to produce more speed. We've seen that not always be the case. We've even had drivers comment that, 5 or 6 cars is really all you need to be able to pull away from a pack of 12, 13, 14. And while that seems odd, you have to take into account that the more cars you have, the more checkup there's going to be. So you're going to have a lot more lifting. Your momentum's not going to be nearly as full throttle as a pack that doesn't have to do that checking up with lesser cars in it.
Oh, one car has to dive to the outside. That's going to break up that pack for just a little bit.
Let's jump back and see about some of our other drivers that are battling for potential playoff spots and where they're currently situated. Keith Bynum coming into this one 6 points above the cut line. Right now scored in the 17th position. Alex Moe, who's already locked in, right now in 19th place in this group.
Oh yeah, see, I've been paying attention, I swear, but it looks like they've picked up another couple of lap cars.
It's Brian Lovell, 23rd place right now for him. He was 60 points ahead of the cut line. Right now he's in the 23rd position. Craig Hagley needed a good run to get into the top 12. Right now he is in 25th. He was 3 points below the cut line. I also failed to notice, I believe I listed him off on the pre-race point standings, but Sean Dotson is not in the field here tonight. So he was the driver that was 1 point behind Mangialardi for the final transfer spot into the playoffs, but since he's not in the field here tonight, he would not be eligible. Robert Breedlove in the 931 as well. I failed to update on him. He's in 11th position right now, and he was 30 points below the cut line. So I'm just going to throw out a little disclaimer here for us. Because of our track record with math with the new point system, there is absolutely no way we are going to be able to let you guys know who absolutely the 12 drivers are that are in the playoffs at the conclusion of this one. We could maybe make an educated guess, but with so many points on the table and it being the classic point system, we're probably not going to do that. What we'll have you do is tune in next week in the first playoff race, and we'll give you the list of the drivers that are locked in. I mean, we've already given you 4 that we know for absolute certain are going to be battling for the championship. Grant Wesley, Ken Roberts, Lissy Sandoval, and Alex Moe. We know that. We can do that kind of math. But for all those drivers that are hovering around the cut line, it's anybody's guess when the checkered flag waves as to who's going to be in and who's going to be out. We'll leave that to the head admin mathematicians here at Talladega Nights and bring you the story of who are your championship competitors next Saturday evening. Halfway home here. And so far, we have kept this thing green. We had one caution come out, but it was before we even went green. The engine expiration on the 56 of Jeffrey Elliott. Since then, though, we've had a round of green flag pit stops. The field has gotten spread out as a result. And Doug Hulick has enjoyed the view out in front for 17 laps tonight.
This is always why I don't like pit stops on a super speedway, because it just spreads the field out. I like me some pack racing.
You like you some flips.
Well, I mean, I do turn everyone's roof flaps off for a reason. That's every person in the back of the pack that is just slowly losing the draft, is slowly losing the will, and maybe slowly slipping into
They're slipping into madness.
Slipping into madness. So you know what that means.
It means please do not play it. We do not need a copyright strike.
Well, I mean, it's distorted, so
That's a cover. They can't copyright that. Well, all 34 drivers that took the green are still running. Right now, 29 of them on the lead lap, though I do see a few stragglers up ahead that will probably get reeled in by this lead group momentarily. Not been a whole lot of race leaders so far in the first half of this race. Mentioned that Hulick, that was his 18th lap led right there. The guy behind him, Ken Roberts, has led 12, and then only 3 other drivers have been out in front for 1 lap, that being Nate Balser, Denny Carroll, and Craig Hagley. Wait, is a caution out? Yes, it is!
Oh,
no, it's not! It's not! There is no... Wait, or is the caution? Yes, it is. Okay. My scoring wasn't showing me a caution flag, but looked like that was Dan Lovell on the back straightaway there.
I want to see what happened to bring out the yellow. Somebody blow up, maybe?
No, there's a lot of back-end damage on the 338. I think he got hooked. So yellow flag out for the first time here tonight, and there's a chorus of drivers singing the Hallelujah chorus right now.
Oh, yeah. Dan Lovell. He, Oh, yeah, he got hooked and spun. Right there. He got spun off on the nose of somebody, hit the wall hard on the inside, and as he was sliding, he slid up from the apron. He just let his car roll up onto the racetrack.
And it was right in front of the leaders.
Right as a couple cars were coming, and that's why the caution came out.
That was right in front of the leaders, too. Because we saw the leaders scatter there on the back straightaway. That's Bob Sire in the 27 behind Dan Lovell. The dreaded bumper grab as Dan hits the inside wall there.
You see that too, right?
Not sure how I feel about that.
Yeah.
Fortunately, everybody avoided him there, though. Well, a lot of drivers will be very thankful for that yellow flag, though normally when you're wrecking, you're being told to hold the brake. But that's going to bring Doug Hulick onto pit road, Ken Roberts, and a bunch of others. For those wondering, the 2 drivers that were in the free pass positions at the time of yellow would be Mike Mangialardi and Billy Elliser. So Graham McDonald, Greg Lovell, Dan Lovell, Gary Mingus, they would have to make the choice of maybe taking a wave around and being a lot shorter on fuel, having to make an earlier pit stop, or bite the bullet, come down pit road, fill up the tank, and hope for another yellow and be in a lucky dog position.
You know what? Thomas the Tank Engine just doesn't sound right unless it's slowly slipping into madness.
You mean you'll never be able to hear the original again?
Never be able to unhear what I've heard. I pray that no one ever has to hear the things that I've heard. Anyway, Seth, as we work their first caution, actually it is the first caution of the night.
Yep.
I think now would be a good time to take
First
a bit of a
official
break.
caution.
Yep, I think now would be a good time to take our first official break.
All right, so we'll step aside for a FRN race break. As we're working our first caution of the evening, we'll get the restart with less than 30 laps to go. We'll have to see who cycles around to the race lead. Potentially it'll be Ken Roberts, who was the first off of pit road, but we'll have to wait and see. We'll sort it all out when we come back. Don't go anywhere. Coverage continues for the final regular season race of Season 5 of the Talladega Nights Shake and Bake Series right here on FRN. Lights out atop the pace car, getting ready for our first restart of the evening. You saw it all during FRN race break. A few drivers coming down pit road. They'll stay a lap down, but Greg Lovell took the wave around, so he'll be a little bit shorter on fuel. He'll be hoping for a quick caution to have that strategy work. Mike Mangialardi and Billy Elliser will get their laps added back manually once the green flag flies. Gary Mingus, Dan Lovell, and Graham McDonald will be battling it out for the next pair of lucky dogs. Ken Roberts is going to be the one to lead us back to green. Mark Paglia to his outside. Nate Balser, Doug Kulik, and Denny Carroll will be the top 5. Then it's Robert Breedlove, Bobby Farrell, Larry D, Jeff Goodpaster, and Javier Negron the top 10. New life breathed into a ton of these drivers' opportunity to win this race now with this caution coming out. Getting ready to go back green. Let's see how anxious these drivers will be to chomp at the bit to get back to 3-wide racing once more. Oh, Paglia! Into the wall! I think he missed a gear.
Or blew a gear.
And a big one over in turn 1. We've got one up and over. That's Graham McDonald. You saw the smoke from underneath the rear tires on the 28.
He could have blown a gear.
Could very well have. Right up at the front, outside of the front row.
And you know what's interesting, Seth? I was just about to make a come sail the way reference.
Well, a couple of drivers, well, about maybe a dozen drivers just sailed away there into turn 1.
Sorry, that was actually funny.
Mark Paglia in the 28. As they're coming back around here to the start-finish line. Yeah, I don't know.
If he was in second gear and he's using a gear shifter, maybe when he went to shift up, he went to first gear because it just kind of sounded like that's exactly what he did. It's either that, because I don't know how it sounds when you're not actually racing and you blow a gear, like you compare the camera sounds, you know what I mean? So my guess is either he blew a gear or he accidentally money shifted back up into first gear.
Well, the tough thing is, unfortunately, on the spectator side, we're normally not able to see exactly what gear a driver is in. We'll try to
Well,
hear.
It's not about trying to see the gear. It's about trying to hear if the gear actually did go out.
Oh, I think he shifted into neutral or into reverse. For a brief moment. Oh, Bob Dixon went up and over there in the grass. But for a brief moment, it showed neutral and it showed reverse.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's hard to tell. We'll have to wait and see that if anybody can confirm that.
Reverse would make sense because you saw
Scotty, thanks for the $5 there.
Oh yeah, appreciate it. Thank you, Scotty.
Absolutely.
But the smoke coming from behind the rear tires would make sense with shifting to reverse, I think.
I'll spam you with the heart button.
And then just look at the drivers involved here. Bynum, Tom Dixon, Bob Dixon, Craig Hagley, Greg Palmer, Pat McCarsky, Perry Bond. And then you had Graham McDonald around further back upside down. I don't know who it was that got into him. Looks like maybe Bob Sire, as they were all trying to check up here. Yeah, Sire spins the 24, and as he's holding the brake, he grip flips. Eric Lovell, Greg Lovell, Dan Lovell, Gary Mingus. Bob Dixon upside down in the grass. That was a lot of drivers collected up in this one. Well, let's take a listen inside of the number 28. And listen to the downshift there, or the missed shift, that led to this second caution of the evening. We're going to go right inside of the Ford Motorcraft Ford Mustang. Boy, it's amazing with that kind of a downshift that he didn't actually blow the motor.
Yeah, I was very much curious. Well, it might have been because it was going at a low speed.
Well, just like that, A lot of drivers who were eyeing the first caution coming out as an opportunity to get back into the conversation for this win. Got a number of them with some pretty good damage there. Number of them on pit road getting the damage repair. One driver is going to be officially out of the race, and that is going to be Bob Dixon. He'll finish in the 34th position. I think all three of the drivers that would have been battling for the free pass position were involved in the wreck, so I'm not necessarily certain how they would figure out who is Lucky Dog eligible or not. I don't know if there's a policy of if you're involved in the wreck, then you waive the right to be a Lucky Dog driver. If it's based off of how they cross the start-finish line at the time of yellow, it would be Gary Mingus and Graham McDonald. But again, I'm not exactly certain what the policy is of Lucky Dog eligibility, so we'll just have to wait and see about that.
I don't know. The Lucky Dog's a sensitive subject with me because I've been helped by it and I've been made worse by it.
Right.
I feel like if you're involved in an accident, something that's not your fault specifically, that maybe you should be okay with receiving it if you cycle around as the car. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, if a wreck is your fault, you're to blame, then obviously you don't get it. But I feel like there should be at least a little leniency when it comes to being involved in somebody else's wreck. But that's just my opinion.
And I would definitely agree with you on that, especially when it comes to super speedway racing, because more often than not, depending on where the incident occurs on the racetrack, there's usually nowhere to go.
Yeah.
So, even there's been times where even if you get just like the slightest amount of contact, say you door bang somebody or side swipe somebody and then go spinning or something, have minimal contact.
Some time you did that to me.
Which time?
I think it was Progressive in the first SS race.
Love that soup.
Or no, the SS, the first the first next gen race.
I don't recall.
When he slammed the wall, came down, and knocked me to the inside wall.
I wish I could go back in time to that moment and do it all over again.
Yeah, I bet you do. Come sail away.
I would like to point out that thing you talked about green being bad luck. Our front row is green cars that have survived up to this point.
Don't jinx it now.
I said it.
I said what I said.
I said what I said. We got some drivers coming to pit road there. One of them was Robert Breedlove. Interesting, the timing of this yellow.
We're not even at 20 to go yet.
Yeah, so. We'll probably get back green with 22 to go, something like that. And I think the furthest we saw anybody go on the long green flag run with the pit stops was completion of lap 20. Is this the thought process of if we have another yellow or two, that's the final pit stop that Breedlove and those others are going to make for the rest of the night? They'll use they'll use the rest of the potential pacing laps to clutch and save to get to the end. But then you're also putting yourself back there in traffic, which increases your chances potentially of being involved in a wreck. So it's a 50-50. It's a gamble. Well, not much really changed up inside of the top 10 with the timing of that yellow. Obviously, the missing of the 28 of Mark Paglia, who was on the outside of the front row for the previous restart. Now Nate Balser will jump up on the outside line there alongside of race leader Ken Roberts. Denny Carroll, Doug Hewlick, and Bobby Farrell will now be the top 5. Larry D., Jeff Goodpaster, Javier Negron, Randy Watt, and Garland Oaks are going to be the top 10. Right now, 30 drivers on the lead lap, potentially 32 when we go back green, again depending on the Lucky Dog policy, and one driver officially out of the race, that being Bob Dixon, who will finish the evening out in 34th place. Now, hopefully everybody will get up through the gears. We can go into another long green flag run. We ended up running over half of this race under green from the start. We've worked 2 cautions here in the last 10 laps, albeit the second one was a accidental downshift. That happens on super speedway restarts. And we're getting ready to go back green here. It's going to be officially with 22 laps remaining. Ken Roberts has led 19 laps. He'll lead his 20th, which will tie him with Doug Hulick for most laps led here tonight. Green flag back in the air here at Talladega Nights Superspeedway. We'll be able to get an idea of drivers that sustained damage in this most recent yellow, if they're going to be up to speed or not once these drivers get up to full song.
Absolutely, we're going to see that, but we're also going to see how this fuel strategy can play out, Seth, because what if this race does run green?
I think even if it runs
None
green,
of
the
these
drivers,
I think if it runs green,
yeah,
they can make it.
no, even the ones that topped off, I don't think they can make it. They'd still be about a lap to a lap and a half short, and yeah, you can clutch under green, but I don't think you'd be able to save enough.
Seth, stop giving away our secrets. Only me, you, and Jessica know how to do that.
That is not true. I've run with these guys. They know how to clutch under green.
True.
Nate Pulser on that outside line. He had the edge for a brief moment, not the Adam Copeland. But the inside line battled back. Dead even there. Now we got a third lane forming. Javier Negron and his Wrecking Ball teammate Garland Oaks jumping up there. No help. They're trying to do it by their lonesome. Making it work pretty well there. Looks like they are slowly gaining, but they need more numbers. Ulysses Sandoval, another teammate, going to jump up there. This should, as we've seen in the past, this should stall out that middle line a little bit, drag them back. Doug Hewlett going to move up there, so some Toyota power up on that third lane. And look how that helped the inside line. Roberts, Carroll, Farrell all get cleared. It's taken me until just now to realize the last names of Denny and Bobby Rhyme. The Carroll and Farrell connection. And Randy Waugh going to move into the 4th position.
Luigi!
Jim Black.
Luigi. No, I'm kidding.
How about the Bandit? Up into the 5th position. Good run for him here tonight in his return to Talladega Nights.
Well, he's driving a black number 3. Oh, my Lord.
No, that's Gary Heiser in the black number 3. Jim Black is the one ahead of him.
Oh.
Close enough.
I think we just saw Garland Oates almost just lose it in front of the field there. He got real close.
A lot of movement back here. You've got the Team Amazon in the middle. Larry D, Jeff Goodpaster, and Perry Bond. Team Wrecking Ball kind of left out to dry in that third lane now as Hewlick has jumped into the middle groove with the Amazon Volkswagens. So we've already pretty much established, in our opinion, nobody's going to be able to make it the rest of the way on fuel. So with that being said, it now kind of begs the question of when do you make that final pit stop? I believe that most of the race leaders, they didn't come to pit road under that second yellow because we had just gone back green. So I think the furthest they probably be able to go, and this is also taking into account the number of laps they might have been able to save under the pacing of that caution period. Randy Waugh just put Gary Heiser up into the wall.
Oh, I don't know if he hit it or not.
I don't think he did. We were 4 wide for a moment there, but it looks like probably the furthest that these guys up at the front would be able to go would be somewhere in the vicinity of lap 57, 58, somewhere in that range. Drivers like Robert Breedlove, they'd be able to go to about lap 64. I mean, the fuel window is open now to make it the rest of the way, should you come to pit lane. But, I mean, when do you come to pit road? When is the optimal time? Do you come to pit road as late as possible, take on the less amount of fuel, or do you maybe come down pit road halfway through this run when it might be a little less congested? You wouldn't have to adhere to somebody else's braking zones, maybe have the chance of getting run over, have a cleaner pit stop. Yeah, you might have to spend a little bit extra time on pit road for more fuel, but it could cancel out in the amount of time gained with a clean entry and exit as well as a clean pit stop. Oh, Bobby Farrell! Heck of a save there. And that Motorcraft Ford Mustang, I don't know if he got a bump through the trial from Jim Black or might have gotten his left sides down on that yellow line, but he was down on the apron. Great job for everybody giving him the room to come back up. That could have very easily been the third yellow flag, and it would have been the second caution of the night that happened right up at the front. Jim Black backed off to allow the 7 recovery time. Ooh, Pat McCarskey back there up the track as he's 3 wide with Mike Mangialardi and Greg Lovell. New leader. How about the Volkswagen Brigade? Larry D is going to go to the point with help from Doug Hewlick. Middle line. Lot of momentum, lot of cars, lot of fast machines there. Kind of a combination of the Wrecking Ball Toyotas and the Team Amazon Volkswagens. Javier Negron moves into 4th. Garland Oaks will go to 5th. Ulysses Sandoval now trying to take 6th as Ken Roberts and that inside line have lost momentum. Look at Negron, going to make a move to the inside there. That's pretty similar to a move that Team Wrecking Ball pulled off. What was it? I think it was a week ago this past Thursday night. That gave Javier Negron his first victory for Team Wrecking Ball, the first win for them as an organization. And he's trying to make it work again here in the Shake and Bake Series. Negron coming into this one too far down in points to be eligible for a playoff position, so he's just out there trying to get himself a checkered flag.
To be there.
Well, he's out
to get himself a checkered flag.
Exactly. He's out there to be there, and by there it means victory lane.
By there it means over there, but not just there, but over there too.
But what I want to know is, where's the caveman?
But what I want to know is, why is Gamora?
Everybody's still asking that question, and Dave Bautista is still not giving us the answer. Oh, a lot of movement there. That was close. Pat McCarskey, Perry Bond, both their cars a little squirrely there. Just outside of the top 10. Randy Waugh, say it.
Luigi.
Up there on the 3rd lane. Wow, big run. Big push from McCarskey. He just gained about 2 rows of momentum right there through 1 and 2 alone. Suddenly Michael has turned into a horse. I don't know why.
I didn't mean to do that. I just exhaled and so then my mouth went like that for some reason.
Well, the microphone picked it up, buddy. Top 3. Team Wrecking Ball. Negron, Oaks, and Sandoval. With Ken Roberts, Denny Carroll right behind. But again, none of these drivers can make it on fuel. It is worth noting that Javier Negron, the victory he picked up a week ago Thursday, they were short to make it on fuel, about 2 laps short, and a caution came out at the point of no return. They were able to make it under pacing the rest of the way. They were able to make it, but this time around, I think they're a lot shorter on fuel. I don't even think that a point of no return caution would save them. They're going to have to pit before that point of no return.
Yeah, yes, they are.
How about Craig Hagley in the 82? I mentioned about the fact that we were going to have to wait until these cars got up to speed to see if they would be still competitive. Craig Hagley was one of the drivers I was a little concerned about. He had a rather extended stay on pit road under that caution period, had a lot of left side damage after a big hit over here in turn 1. But it looks like that car is still up and firing and up to speed. Right behind him, Mark Paglia, after the restart issue with the accidental downshift. He's trying to make his way back up here into the top 10.
How about that guy sitting in second place right now?
We know that guy.
Yes. We're not used to seeing him up here because usually he's either riding in the back or involved in a wreck.
Well, he said during the driver intros that he started shotgun in the field because he wanted to give everybody else a chance to win. Well, he's up here at the front now, so that was a lie.
He said he wanted to give him a chance.
Oh, Nate Balser! Another great save through the tri-oval. Bobby Farrell looking in his rearview mirror saying, hey, I did that a couple of laps ago. Gary Heiser on the apron there. Looks like he just was on pit road. So that would have been his final pit stop of the day. Also, just noticed this about 8 laps ago. Greg Palmer in the 22 brought his Chevrolet to pit road and made the left-hand turn to the garage, joining Bob Dixon behind the wall. Greg Palmer did have a shot of pointing his way into the playoffs. He was 130 points below the cut line, 29th in overall standings, but obviously this DNF is going to take him out of playoff contention. As there we go, there's a wreck. Larry D around, and others as well. Hagley is up and over. Makarski is spinning. Doug Hulick is spinning.
I thought it was gonna be only a one person involved, and I saw the others start to spin too. I'm like, no.
Bob Sire has gone for a spin. Eric Lovell is around. To be honest, I think we've only got about 6 drivers that were involved in that, and a number of them rather light contact, with the exception of Larry D and Craig Hagley. So it could have been much worse with the area of the racetrack that it occurred, but that dang tri-oval, huh? I mean, that's what, 4 laps where 3 different incidents took place there? First Farrell, then Nate Balser, and now Larry D.
Yeah.
We're told that's where the cars are at the lightest. And usually if you bump in that tri-oval, the driver you're bumping is got the wheels turned to the left, and it exacerbates that left-hand turn and snaps the back end of the car around. That's a tough break for Larry D. He was having such a good run tonight. Had gotten Team Amazon up to the front, led a lap, and now he's going to be towards the rear of the field here with only a handful of laps to go. And this caution, we're gonna stay here with the leaders just out of curiosity, because we talk about races won and lost on pit road under green. How about races won or lost on pit road under caution here, potentially with the money stop here tonight? Because everybody should be able to make it on fuel now.
Yeah, after this, they definitely should.
Couple of drivers staying out. Nate Balser, Greg Lovell. Looked like Robert Breedlove was one of those. Oh, we got a wreck on pit road. It's one of the Team Amazon cars and Denny Carroll. Another Team Amazon car sideways further back there that missed his pit stall. As the battle off of pit road was won by Ken Roberts, having that number 2 pit stall. Ulysses Sandoval coming out behind him. Then it looked like Javier Negron, Garland Oaks, and Bobby Farrell were the top 5 leaving pit road. Oh, actually, correction. Alex Moe came out behind Sandoval ahead of Negron. But interesting strategy here with Nate Balser, Greg Lovell, Bob Sire, Brian Lovell, Stephen Branstetter, Graham McDonald, Eric Lovell, and Gary Mingus all staying out. Do they continue to stay out and save, or will they be
I feel
pitting?
like at this point you should have pit. There's not maximum you can get. You're gonna come down pit road. You're gonna get like not what, a can, maybe a can and a half at most, depending on how much you have left.
Yep.
So at this point, you're better off just coming to pit road as soon as it's open. So if they're staying out, then it's going to be a bold move.
At this point in time, with 8 laps remaining, yeah, you'd be taking probably about a can. Here's a look at what brought the yellow flag out, and a little argument over space there. Greg Lovell on the inside of Larry D. Down into Stephen Branstetter and Eric Lovell. Gary Mingus involved as well. Saw Bob Sire got some late contact live. We'll look back at that. as well as the
here comes
contact
others down
for
pit road.
the 82 of Craig Hagley.
A couple others coming down pit road now. I think those might be the lapped cars.
Might have also been some of the drivers involved in the wreck. A couple of big hits here tonight for Craig Hagley in the 82. Gets a shot in the driver's side door from Doug Kulik. Nearly goes over. Everyone scatters to avoid. Let's take a look from the chopper cam at the incident through the tri-oval. Greg Lovell was definitely there on the bottom, and it looked like, at least from our first camera shot, that he didn't have his left sides down below the yellow line. Larry D, I might not have known that he was down there. Here's the aerial look. We'll take it back actually here to out of turn 4 because Lovell makes the move rather early. It's definitely the left rear quarter panel, and yep. I don't know if Larry didn't realize that he wasn't clear, but Greg Lovell was definitely there. And that's going to bring out the caution for officially the third time here tonight. Our scoring says 4 cautions, but that's only because we had the incident at the initial start of the race and prolonged the green flag by 1 lap. And Greg Lovell is going to be the leader now over Bob Sire, Stephen Brandstetter, Graham McDonald, and Eric Lovell. So these are the drivers here that came to pit road at the 1 to green under the last caution. They're utilizing the opportunity here under these pacing laps to save fuel in the attempt that they won't have to come back to pit road. Ken Roberts, who was the first one off of pit road here under this caution period, we know he is going to make it the rest of the way because he topped off. It's guaranteed he'll get to the checkers, and he will restart in 9th place. So 8 drivers on a different fuel sequence to the rest of the field. We'll have to see how it plays out. For Greg Lovell, he's in the perfect position right now that he would advance into the playoffs on points. But he's trying to be the first repeat winner on the season. Stephen Brandstetter, he needs a lot of help. He's about 70 points below the cut line here.
Pace lights are off on the pace car set, and I believe that when we do go back racing, we might be at the point of no return with the lapped cars.
I think you're right.
We have 1 lapped car, and I think he might be getting the wave around.
Yes, well, I think he'd be getting the lucky dog.
Same thing.
Yeah, I think you're correct. Regardless of if we have a lap car, though, I think we still, even with lead lap cars, would be at the point of no return here with lap 62 going up on the board. Update as well, another driver out of the race, Dan Lovell, brought the 388 to pit road. Apparently mechanical problem, an engine header for him, so he joins Greg Palmer, Bob Dixon, and Jeffrey Elliott back in the garage area. All right, here's the way they line up for what could potentially be the final restart of the night. Greg Lovell, the leader. Bob Sire in 2nd. Stephen Brandstetter in 3rd. Graham McDonald in 4th. So you've got 4 different manufacturers represented up inside of your top 4. Eric Lovell is in 5th. Gary Mingus in 6th. Robert Breedlove in 7th. Ken Roberts is now in 8th, as I believe we had one of our lead lap cars come to pit road there. Ulysses Sandoval will be 9th. Alex Moe will complete the top 10. Javier Negron in 11th. Garland Oaks 12th. Bobby Farrell, Craig Hagley, Randy Waugh, the top 15. We're going to have 31 drivers running. 31 in the lead lap when Gary Heiser gets his lap back via the lucky dog. And now all bets are off. Who's going to get the final checkered flag of the regular season here in Season 5 of the Talladega Nights Shake and Bake Series?
About to find out. We'll see if Garland Oaks and the rest of them can get back up here. We'll see if they have enough fuel. That's gonna be the question.
Ken Roberts trying to go coast to coast after starting on the pole position and leading a race high 23 laps. Green flag in the air. Gary Mingus jumps up to the outside line.
Doesn't really get any help.
Nope. Try to anticipate that start. Denny Carroll's going to try and go up to that third lane there. Oh, man, they were almost 4 wide back there out of 2, and they're wrecking. Oh, we got a couple of cars over. This, I think, is the race back potentially to the checkers. And Gary Mingus is going to get up into the wall. Alex Moe on the apron to avoid that wreck. He didn't advance his position, so I think he should be okay. Graham McDonald now moves into the second spot. Can he do anything with Greg Lovell here? Coming to the caution. Not going to be close enough. Bob Sire looks to the top. He's not going to be able to get alongside. He's going to get third behind McDonald in second. Lovell with the win. We're pretty sure this race is going to end under caution, as the yellow flag is received with 4 laps to go. And immediately Greg Lovell throws in the clutch again to make sure he's going to get around if we have these remaining laps finish under the yellow flag. They were 4 wide coming off of turn number 2. These drivers knew this was probably going to be the final restart of the night. They were going to fight and claw for every position possible.
Arguing over space, and there just wasn't space.
Nope.
So I'm going to let you handle our post-race questions, Mr. Seth.
TM4. We're going to go back and take a look at what happened here. See if we can figure out where this even starts. Almost looked like the 7 of Bobby Farrell may have gotten a bump in the corner, but saves it. Watch the red number 7. Right there, gets a bump. And then he comes up into Doug Kulik, who then sweeps up Nate Balser, Jeff Goodpaster, Chris Elliott, who goes for a tumble, Larry D, Brian Lovell, Jim Black might have been involved in that as well. Just nowhere to go as the cars migrate up towards the outside wall off of turn 2. Here's a look with it focused on the 188. Jim Black, I don't think, was involved. I don't think Brian Lovell was involved either. Black bounced off the wall trying to slow down, and Brian was able to get down to the inside to make his way through. So about 6 drivers involved here in this one. And then a close call over in turn 3 with Ken Roberts getting into, I believe it was the right rear quarter panel of Gary Mingus. And Alex Moe does a great job of avoiding this. Right there, bumper grab, 12 into the wall, 55 comes down. You see the 48. Does not advance his position there. He backs off, he lets the 12 have the spot before he advances again, but he had to give the room to the 55. Otherwise, those two would have wrecked. And then this was the race back to the caution. Graham McDonald just not close enough to be able to make a move against Greg Lovell. Bob Sire tried to snipe the second spot there at the start-finish line, but he's going to end up in 3rd place. We think the lights would have to go out on the pace car this time by if we were going to have ourselves a 1-lap shootout.
Which it might not.
It might not.
Buddy was moved out of
We
your
do
channel.
have no drivers a lap down, so there is a chance
Buddy was moved
that
to
we
your
could end up
channel.
having a 1-lap shootout here. Gary Heiser did get the lucky dog. We'll have to wait and see here.
I was told to inform you to do the factoids first.
Right, already aware. Yep. Well, it looks like a number of drivers involved in that one will not see the conclusion of this race, whether it be under green or under caution. Randy Waugh, Stephen Brandstetter, Doug Kulik, and Chris Elliott all out of the race. And now we find out if Greg Lovell's going to have to hold them off for one more green flag lap, or will he be picking up his 2nd win on the season here under caution. The Big Evil Designs pace car crosses the stripe, and it looks like the lights are still flashing, so this race will end under yellow.
Yes, it will, unfortunately.
pretty safe to say that your race leaders will be able to make it on fuel, with the opportunity of saving here under this pacing lap period. Top three, Greg Lovell, Graham McDonald, Bob Sire. Will be talking with them post-race after the Bob Dixon factoids. Alex Moe's going to be fourth. Ken Roberts led the most laps tonight. He'll be fifth place. He shared the front row with Robert Breedlove, who will finish sixth. Craig Hagley will be seventh. Eighth, Denny Carroll. Ninth, Garland Oaks. And 10th, Ulysses Sandoval. A couple of drivers that the question mark is out there on which side of the spectrum for the playoffs will they be on. Keith Bynum came in 11th in points, 6 points ahead of the cut line. He's going to finish in 13th. Was that enough to advance into the postseason? Mike Mangialardi came in the cut line driver. He'll finish 17th. Craig Hagley, who was 3 points below the cut line, going to finish in the top 10 in 7th. And Billy Elliser, who was 25 points below the cut line, is going to finish out the day in 11th. So it may be very close between about 4 or 5 drivers. Robert Breedlove as well was 30 points back, and he'll finish up in 6th.
Whoever asked the FRN officials to finally put a bathroom in the booth is a great idea, because I was there and back in the flash of a pan.
The idea was there, but the funding and the labor wasn't.
Until recently.
Yeah. Now, whether the bathroom works correctly or not, I'm not sure, because it was Matt Rod who installed it, but...
But do we trust him now?
We might. White flag displayed over the hood of the Corona Ford Mustang Dark Horse of Greg Lovell. 2.66 miles here at 70 miles per hour. And he will be picking up the checkered flag. Greg Lovell won race number 5 on the season. He came into this one 5th in overall points. All he needed was a top 30 result tonight to lock himself into this season's playoffs. And he's going to enter into the postseason with some pretty valuable bonus points. He'll be the only multi-time winner on the season. He had a shot last season to win the championship, but I believe it was stage 2 of the playoffs. He ended up getting eliminated. So he's looking for a little bit of redemption here in Season 5.
Now we have some interesting music playing, as I love to put music in the background. It's the Terminator 2 Judgment Day theme updated epic modern cover, as these cars slowly make their way to the checkered flag in this epic 70-mile-an-hour finish.
Kind of picture you as like the soundtrack guy, like a DJ. Feel like if there was like a blowover or something, you'd do like the Chariots of Fire theme or something in the background. Car goes spinning, you'd play the "You Spin Me Right Round, Baby Right Round." What song would you play for a winner, though?
We Are the Champions.
Ah, there you go. Can't go wrong with Queen. Well, Greg Lovell is hoping that this might be the first step to him being the Season 5 champion. There's your segue. As he's going to come around here to the start-finish line. And Greg Lovell is your winner of the season finale here, Season 5 of the Talladega Nights Shake and Bake Series. His second win on the season. And if it wasn't already solidified, he's going to be in the playoffs here in Season 5. We know Grant Wesley, Ken Roberts, Ulysses Sandoval, Alex Moe will be joining him. Graham McDonald with his second place finish, he'll be in. Denny Carroll with his 8th, he'll be locked in. Bobby Farrell, I think, should be safe, though I'm not 100% certain. He will finish 23rd tonight, but Farrell came into this race 120 points ahead of the cut line, so he should I'll put that in air quotes, advance into the playoffs. And then for the rest of the drivers down below, I have no idea. Brian Lovell, I think he should be safe, but I'm not 100% certain. Keith Bynum, Mike Mangialardi, Craig Hagley, Billy Elliser, Robert Breedlove. I have no idea for those drivers who's going to be nabbing the final positions. Rodney Sullins, I don't think, had enough points ahead of the cut line, even with a provisional, that he would be in the playoffs. So that leaves another spot open in the top 12. Again, as I said, got to tune in next Saturday night for us to give you your official playoffs lineup in preparation for what will be 2 races to determine the final 4 and then the eventual champion. Greg Lovell using up every last bit of Goodyear rubber in his burnout here on the front straightaway at Talladega Nights Super Speedway. That's an impressive burnout. That's a long burnout. And he had enough fuel to be able to do it as well. Don't know how close he was on fuel after playing that strategy. Remember, too, Greg Lovell, after the cycle of green flag pit stops, he was a lap down. He ended up having to serve a stop and go. He ended up taking the wave around, caught the caution he needed, and was able to get himself back on the lead lap, fight his way all the way back up to the front, used a little bit of strategy at the end to gain track position. Adventurous night. And Greg Lovell finds himself in victory circle. Here's a look at your finishing results from this one. We ran down the entirety of the top 10. Billy Elliser, Gary Mingus, Keith Bynum, Eric Lovell, and Tom Dixon going to bring it home in the top 15. Javier Negron, who was out in front a bit tonight, 16th. Mangialardi, the cut line driver, 17th. Was that enough to advance him into the playoffs? Mark Paglia, Pat McCarthy, Perry Bond, your top 20. And then Brian Lovell, Jim Black, Bobby Farrell, Larry D, Nate Balser, and Jeff Goodpaster were the last drivers to finish on the lead lap. Gary Heiser finishing a lap down for some reason there in 27th place. He had gotten the lucky dog under the last caution, but he'll get 27th regardless of if he finished on the lead lap or a lap down. And then the drivers that did not reach the conclusion: Randy Waugh, Stephen Brandstetter, Doug Hewlett, Chris Elliott, Dan Lovell, Greg Palmer, and Bob Dixon. Jeffrey Elliott's name not shown here. He had an engine failure on the initial pace lap. And also not shown here, Frank Divins. He was having connection issues, was not able to get onto the racetrack.
Frank Divins.
Divins. All right, well, we're going to head into our FRN post-race wind down. And first off, we're going to be getting our factoids.
Insufficient permissions.
With Bob Dixon here. Before we get our top 3 for post-race interviews. Should have Bob here momentarily to give us our factoids for the night. And again, be sure to tune in next week for the official playoff grid of who is in to battle for the championship. Let's see. All right, let's do this.
Buddy was moved out of your channel.
All right. We should be set here for Bob Dixon's factoids. Take it away, Bob.
All right. Bob Dixon's famous factoids, guys. Top 5 fastest laps of the night. Honorable mention goes to Greg Palmer. 5th place goes to Chris Elliott. Chris did a 47.854 second lap. That's 200.109 mile per hour, lap 11. 4th was Denny Carroll. Denny did a 47.851 second lap. That's 200.122 mile per hour, lap 11. 3rd was Craig Hagley. Craig did a 47.833 second lap. That's 200.197, lap 23. 2nd was Gary Mingus. Gary did a 47.824 second lap. That's 200.235 mile per hour, lap 11. And the fastest lap of the night goes to Jeff Goodpaster. Jeff did a 47.799 second lap. That's 200.339 mile per hour, lap 12. And the most laps led was Ken Roberts at 24, Doug Hewlick at 20, Greg Lavelle, congrats on your win, Greg, 5, Javier Negron, 5, Nate Balser, 3, Larry D, 2, Greg Hagley, 1, Denny Carroll, 1, and Eric Lovell, 1. And that's your factoids of the night. Thank you guys for hosting.
Absolutely.
No
Bob
problem.
Dixon's factoids there. You heard some really fast lap times there, over 200 miles per hour. Appreciate the factoids as always, Bob.
Yeah, man, they were tight times too.
Absolutely. Well, now it's time to talk with our top 3 finishers here this evening.
Buddy was moved out of your
And
channel or
let's
left
see
your
if
channel.
we can dial up the driver that brings it home 3rd place tonight. Driver of the only Cadillac in the field. Let's see if we can
permissions.
dial up Bob Sire. Oh, well, looks like we need to have him move in himself. So let's see if we can get a hold of him here. Oh, he might not be there. We're gonna try and wait and see if we can be able to talk with him. A good run for him here tonight. Bob ended up starting this race from 4th. He might not be there. I'm not certain. Not able to move him down, unfortunately.
User joined your channel.
There we go. I think we got him now. Bob, Seth and Michael up in the FRM booth. You got us?
Yes, sir. How y'all
Well,
doing?
Doing great. Bet you're doing good. I mean, a bit of an adventurous night here this evening for this number 27. Couple of late rate scrapes, but nothing that took this thing out of being fast. Up there at the front, late had a shot to be able to win this thing, but was there anything you could do? Did you need like a pusher to be able to get you up there alongside the 088? Because you were kind of boxed in there going through 3 and 4 as the 3rd car in line.
Yeah, you know, as we took that restart, the cars started wrecking shortly after we took that restart, and it just didn't have enough.
User was moved out of your channel. User was moved.
We didn't have quite enough. I didn't quite have quite enough help to get the run that I needed. And when that caution came out, and
user was moved out of your channel.
All right,
right
looks like
then.
we're having some problems here. Hopefully we get Bob back.
User was moved to your channel.
There we go. We got him back.
Technical difficulties.
All righty.
Apologize. So yeah, with that late race caution, I was hoping to get out front, hoping that Greg was going to pit, and then Greg didn't pit, and they said, "All right, we're going green next time by," and I'm like, "Oh boy, here we go." And so yeah, I didn't really get any help on the restart, and they started wrecking, and it was basically a free for all, and the 24 Graham was lined up behind Greg, and he was able to get a little better draft than I was, as because I was on the outside. So top 3, I'll take it in this new 27 Cadillac.
Yeah, thing looked pretty sharp out there. We were seeing you and I think about 6 or 7 others play a little bit different fuel strategy there after the second half of this race. How close were you guys making it on fuel if we had gone green the rest of the way? You got the aid of a couple of cautions to be able to save, but how razor's edge was it fuel-wise for you guys?
It was probably going to be running out coming out of 4.
Wow. So very, very close there. That caution helped you guys out a ton to be able to make it to the checkers. And as you said, a great run tonight in 3rd position. Qualified well, ran well, finished well. Good run for this Cadillac here this evening. Bob, congratulations. But before we let you go, we're going to give you the opportunity to do some thank you, sponsors, and shout outs.
I'd like to shout out to Harley Davidson Motorcycle Company, Blaine Donlin of Tarnation TV for painting this fantastic ride, Frank Divens Sr. for this fantastic Cadillac template, Aptar Group, who my lovely wife works for, and the United States Postal Service, who I currently work for.
Well, that's Bob Sire. He brings it home P3 here tonight under the lights at Talladega Nights Super Speedway in the regular season finale. Congratulations on the great run. Hopefully we can see this be a streak of consistency down the remainder of this year.
I sure hope so. I also want to shout out on my new satellite team for the Wrecking Ball crew of Ulysses.
Absolutely. Well, that is Bob Sire, your third place finisher here tonight. Congratulations once again on the good run this evening.
Woo!
All right, let's see if we can now dial up the driver that brings it home in the second position. And that would be
User
Graham
was moved to
McDonald.
your
Graham,
channel.
Michael, and Seth up here in the
User left
FRM
your
booth. You got
channel.
us?
Yep, I have you.
Oh, great run for you here this evening. You didn't need to have a super good run. You just needed a good run to be able to lock yourself into the playoffs. But we also know that momentum going into the postseason is very important. You had a shot at this victory here this evening. You had Greg right in front of you. You had a shot to maybe take him to the outside through the tri-oval. What was the thought process? What little more could you have done to get alongside of him and maybe be a winner heading into this postseason?
Not much. I don't think there was anyone behind me that could push.
Now, we ended up actually seeing, I believe it was under the caution over in turn one, you went up and over for a brief moment there. So a lot of resilience out of this Mopar Dodge. How were you able to get yourself back up there to the front and still be in the conversation for this after a wild ride?
I got lucky. They only banged on the car a couple of times during the pit stop, and that was it.
You know, with super speedway racing, consistency is easier said than done with all the variables and unpredictability that go into SS racing, but you're now locked into the playoffs. You got 2 races to get through to get into that final 4 to compete for the championship. What's the confidence level, the nervousness level? What is it heading into next week when the playoffs begin?
At this point, I'd just be happy if I made it to the second round.
Well, going to be interesting to follow you and the rest of the playoff drivers during the course of these 2 races. Best of luck, of course, in the playoffs, Graham, and a great way to cap off this regular season, bringing it home in the second position. More than likely, the way the points look, going to be up at least somewhere around inside the top 5 in the regular season standings. So, great overall year for you. Congratulations. Before we let you go, though, we'll give you the opportunity to thank some sponsors and do some shout-outs.
I just want to say thanks to the admins for putting this on, and shout out to my grandsons, Chase and William. They'll probably watch this race tomorrow with me on YouTube. And shout out to my teammates, even though I couldn't work with them too well tonight.
Graham McDonald, second place here this evening in the regular season finale. He'll have some good momentum heading into the playoffs next week. Congratulations on the job well done, and best of luck next Saturday.
Hey, thank you.
And let's see
User was
if
moved
we
out of your
can
channel.
dial up our race winner. Let's go down to victory lane
User was
and talk
moved
to the
to your
two-time
channel.
winner on the season, Greg Lovell. Greg, it's Michael and Seth up here in the FRM booth. You got us?
Yes, Seth, what's up, buddy?
Well, man, I mean, let's go back to the turning point of the race here. You end up getting a penalty on the green flag pit stop, have to serve a stop and go, fall a lap down. You make the gutsy decision to take the wave around, be a little bit shorter on fuel, but you caught the caution you needed, played the strategy, got the track position, and won this race. I mean, adventurous night for you to pick up win number 2 on the season.
Say sometimes you got to do things and take a chance. I mean, you just never do know when the caution's going to come out, especially on restarts. Man, somebody could just bust a gear or blow up on a restart or anything, man. Or I mean, anything can happen. You got to take chances at times.
Now, we ended up seeing, I believe it was on the second caution, we ended up seeing you and a few others come down pit road at the 1 degree and top off the fuel. Now, us up here in the booth were trying to crunch the numbers. It didn't look like you guys were going to be able to make it without the aid of a yellow flag. Was that the case, or was there a scenario where you could have saved a little bit of fuel had that last run gone green to the checkers?
Nope, I was 3 laps shy. So I was going to have to take half a can if it had stayed green. There was no way I could have made it. So when that caution come out, I clutched to save enough to make it on that very last yellow.
Well, coming into tonight, we had 7 races and 7 different drivers had gone to victory lane. You become the first repeat winner on the season, winning race 5 and now race 8. I remember last season when I talked with you in the finale, you were so close to advancing into the Final Four to compete for the championship, but came up just short. How much more determined are you here this season, especially with this good momentum heading into the playoffs?
Oh, I'm very determined. I've won a championship here, I think 3 times. I would love to have a 4th, a 5th, or a 6th. What's it going to hurt to have more, you know?
Absolutely.
I mean, it feels good, man, to win races and championships. I think I won the very first championship they had here. I got a mug because of it, a cup Jeffrey sent me. It was the first ever series championship they had here, and I won it.
Well, that is pretty awesome. I'll tell you what, that Ford Dark Horse Mustang looked pretty good out there in front here tonight. The new Corona colors as well. Congratulations on the victory here this evening. Before we let you get back to your celebrating, though, Greg, the floor is yours for Victory Lane. Thank you, sponsors, and shout-outs.
Well, first most, I'd like to thank you, Seth. You and who's in here? Michael, Norman. Michael's with you. I'd like to thank you guys for helping us out, coming over here and calling the race for us. Y'all always do a wonderful job. You always have. I'd like to give a shout out to Jeffrey and Ken, Chris, Danny, and all the admins, Keith. I can't think of all of them. Craig, Bob. Jeffrey does a whole lot for this place, man, and you know he don't. I don't think he gets enough thank yous for it, but he does do a lot here, and I appreciate everything he does. And I'd like to give a shout out to BSR, Magoo, and Brian Voles, and all those guys at BSR. I'll be back over there, guys. I'm just running the championship right now. When it's over, I'll be back racing with you guys too.
Well, Greg Lovell, he'll be heading into the playoffs as the only 2-time winner on the season. He'll have some good momentum as he looks to get that championship trophy. He's your winner here tonight in the regular season finale. Congratulations once again, Greg. Great strategies, some timely cautions helping you out on that. Best of luck here as the playoffs begin.
Thanks, Seth, Michael. Appreciate it, guys.
User
Greg
was moved
Lovell
out
with
of
the
your
victory
channel.
here tonight. And again, we can only just kind of eyeball the drivers that we know are going to be locked in. It's a bit of a bit of a haze on the lower half of the playoffs as to who mathematically is going to be in, who mathematically is going to fall out. Right now, Grant Wesley, Ken Roberts, Ulysses Sandoval, Alex Moe, Greg Lovell, Graham McDonald, Denny Carroll. Those are the drivers that, for absolute certainty, we know mathematically are going to be locked in. I believe I listed off 8 drivers right there, 7 or 8 drivers. I think it might have been 7. So question marks on who the other 5 are going to be. Going to have to tune in next Saturday night to find out who those other competitors will be for this championship this season. But Michael, here tonight, regular season coming to a close, drivers trying to get those last-minute playoff positions. Kind of a tale of 2 races. We had the long green flag run at the beginning. The green flag pit stop certainly played its part. A lot of drivers having to overcome penalties. And then in the closing stage of the race, you know the aggressiveness is going to pick up. So drivers had to do their best to position themselves at the front, away from where the wrecks were going to be, and have to hope they did enough to be able to gain enough points to advance into the top 12.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And it should be fun to watch, and I can't wait.
Now, Greg Lovell, I mean, you heard the determination in his voice there, goes in the first repeat winner. A lot of big names up there at the top of the board, but being a repeat winner, does Greg have an edge?
When you think about it, yeah, because he knows how to do it. He knows how to position himself. He knows how to get through the pit stops. But every race is unpredictable, so you never know how it's going to be. So it's what's going to make it the most interesting is no race is ever the same.
Never is. And there's going to be really only one opportunity each time for a driver to advance their way through the playoffs. Next week, it'll be stage 1, where the field will get whittled down from 12 to 8. Then it's stage 2, where the field gets whittled down from 8 to 4. And then it is the final 4 to compete for the championship in the season finale. So it's really a one race opportunity. There's no mulligan race and then a do-over the following week. You got to remain consistent if you're going to win the championship here in the Talladega Nights Shake and Bake Series. But thank you all so much for tuning into our coverage here tonight. Crazy regular season finale setting up the 12 playoff drivers, which we will announce to you next Saturday night when we bring you stage 1 of the playoffs. That will be the green flag flying around 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you, Michael, for joining me here tonight. A great one under the lights at Talladega Nights Superspeedway. I'm ready to get these playoffs started.
Absolutely, I can't wait.
Once again, thanks to everybody that tuned in. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Saturday evening. For Michael Norman, I'm Seth Cole, and you've been watching another broadcast courtesy of FRN, the Flatout Racing Network.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of Flatout Racing Network and may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of Flatout Racing Network and iRacing.com Motorsports Simulations. Flatout Racing Network would like to thank you for your support, and we hope you enjoy